this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony. Each generation of Americans has been summoned to let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
Of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place this morning, this Memorial Day weekend. When we conclude our poetry and prayer series, Sacred Service, thank you to our beloved UCOP prayer chaplains for lighting these candles this morning. Thank you to our vocalist, Willis White, for our music director and keyboard, Fred Albers, for our UCOP trio, this morning made up of Fred, Bill McCamey on bass, and Terry Swope on guitar. Thank you all for being here. In unity, we honor all paths to God, and we believe that all people are born in original blessing. We teach, preach, and believe in our wholeness as a beloved child of God, and we value the gifts of diversity in the world. In unity, we honor and affirm all people of color, creed, ability, sexual orientation, and gender expression. We preach, teach, and believe in our wholeness as a beloved child of God. We come together each week to remember and remind each other who and whose we are. And our Christ candle down here in front symbolizes the Christ light always present and brightly shining in each of us. So as we behold this light and all of these lights and the lights within each of us, let us affirm one of unity's statements of truth. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
And can we together also say our vision, which is an affirmation of who we are as a unity movement together. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And will you also join with me to affirm this current spiritual home and also any future spiritual space by saying together, we are grateful for our new spiritual home that empowers us to fulfill our mission. And now please join Fred and Willis White for My Soul is Welcome Here.
Feel free to sing with us. Put those hands together on this joyous occasion. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
thank you. I'm going to borrow this for a moment. So this is today's daily word reading. The word for this morning is inner peace. God grows within me as I remain centered in God. Inner peace, the peace of God that my words can only begin to describe, does not depend on outer circumstances. Peace does not come from any external source. It arises within me. At a place in consciousness, sometimes called the center of my being, peace, like all the qualities of God, waits for me to recognize and claim it. I claim inner peace when I remember the truth that God's presence is always within me and with me. And as I center my awareness in the divine presence within, peace soothes my feelings and restores order to my thoughts. I move through all circumstances with calm assurance. Peace grows within me as I remain centered in God. Every event in my day contributes to the calm peace of my soul. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3.
So we take into this time inner peace as we settle in for our prayer, knowing that there is one power and presence in the universe, God, the source of inner peace, our source of inner peace. And so though we greet this Memorial Weekend with the flags flying half-mast for the shooting that happened earlier this week in San Jose, and we wake this morning to yet another shooting in Miami, we breathe deeply into the core of our being for that source of inner peace, not to relieve ourselves of responsibility for that which happens in the world, but that we may become the container and the presence of that which we wish to see more of in the world, inner peace. And so with every breath, with every word, with every action that serves to bring and to manifest inner peace into the external world, we know truth, we know spirit, we know good. And as we remember this weekend, all of those who paid the ultimate price, who gave selflessly in service to our country, we bring into the fold all of those first responders who over the last year have been managing a pandemic, those who have been managing protests and riots, those who have lost their lives in service to the wellness and well-being of the soul of our country. And we say thank you. Thank you for stepping forward. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to humanity. We breathe inner peace into the families who have suffered loss. And as we are the presence of inner peace, we bring more of it to a world that hungers for it. We bring more love, more wisdom, and we bring a brighter tomorrow. And for this opportunity to serve the work of Spirit in this way, to be the presence of that peace, to be the presence of that transformational love, we are so grateful. And so it is. Amen. And so now is the time when we bring gratitude forward in our heart space for the many ways in which we bring love and wisdom and thriving into this community through acts of service, through our generous giving, So you may continue to give online at ucop.org/giving, or you may send your checks in to 10,000 Marshall Drive in Lenexa. Or beginning next week, you may bring those checks or cash, we take cash, and bring it right here into our drop box for giving. And so, yes. Oh, we can just taste it. It feels like a slow motion moving, but also it's coming right at us. We will be together again before we know it. And we are so grateful for that iteration of thriving community that is just around the corner. So let's speak with gratitude, with joy, our love offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful. And we welcome back Willis White.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed with the wind always fill up my sail, how far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? Yeah. What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak seed in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would that voice of courage whisper in my ear? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? Oh, what would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, I am brave.
If I were brave, what would I do? Do you have ideas swirling around your head? Is that question poking at your comfort zone? What would I do today if I were brave? Maybe you're thinking, I don't feel much like being brave today. That is going to take me right out of my comfort zone. That is going to make me very uncomfortable. In fact, I've been making a fine art out of avoiding bravery for a very long time now. Thank you very much, Reverend Jackie. Let's move on, get back to some music. If I were brave, home of the free, land of the brave. It is part of our cultural identity to be brave. And I'm not talking about the daredevil activity that we make reality TV shows of. I'm not talking about the Guinness Book of World Records kind of bravery. I'm talking about the ordinary bravery. This week, my firstborn daughter graduated high school. Yeah. Not your firstborn, but your baby. Candace's baby also graduated high school this week, and we also have others in our community. Liliana Choate also graduated, all from the Shawnee Mission School District. Yay, SMSD. Very delightful experience there, at least for our family. This idea of courage and bravery has been heavily on my mind. So, for example, graduation for us was Tuesday, and Wednesday we loaded up the family and 5 extra graduates to go down to Table Rock Lake. Bravery. Bravery. Well, and I will say this, that I had my dad drive the kids, the teenagers, the graduates, in a minivan that we rented, and then the rest of us went in a different car. Adventure. Future, the unknowing, the sense of the unlimited. You know, there was a reason that we took that trip. It was by design. You know, this particular class, they got their whole senior year befuddled, kind of messed up and mucked up because of the pandemic, and the end of their junior year, really. So they went into their senior year with no idea what was going to happen, and yet having all of the pressure that we put on our graduates, on our graduating seniors, just like everyone else. What are you going to do when you graduate? What college are you going to go to? What's your next step? Can we not just get to one finish line before we start paying debt to the next? We do that to ourselves. And I wanted to give them just a few days to be in celebration, to just celebrate this accomplishment, that for the first time in a very long time, a graduating class adapted to a pandemic. They went through an entire school year with teachers who were in uncharted territory, not knowing exactly the best way to provide this virtual learning paradigm, not knowing exactly the best way or having the best support to do a hybrid version of learning. Come on. I mean, we've been dealing with this as a spiritual community, right? But we aren't responsible for anybody's future accomplishments based on grades and tests and measurement. I wanted them to be able to just simply celebrate. But knowing that we were approaching Memorial Day and that we'd be talking about bravery, I couldn't help but think of generations past, where graduation was marked by knowing that the graduates would then be enlisting to serve our country in an active war, either voluntarily or not. And my heart really went out to the parents and families of those graduates. And there are graduates today who are going to enlist and serve our country. bravery. There are graduates today who are going into an unknown world, going to maybe a university, not knowing whether they will be studying in person or some variation of hybrid or virtual learning. Not knowing what the future holds for them, not knowing how this pandemic experience has changed just what it means to get a degree and get a job, that process. Brave, stepping into that. We spent a day in Eureka Springs on this trip this week, and we went to our favorite haunted hotel, the Crescent. Brave. I say brave because Josie and Jamie love ghost stories, and they have taken the ghost tour at that hotel many times, so many times they have it memorized. So we didn't actually have to sign up for it. We just let them give us the ghost tour, and they took pictures. Fred, they got pictures with something in it. I'm not here to say it is or it isn't a ghost, but I'm telling you, it's not just like the orb that you can explain away with reflection on the lens and this kind of thing. We're talking hands behind the kids, over their heads. I'm not kidding. We'll let you see the pictures. I'm telling you, when I saw the one with the hand coming behind Josie, I ran across the room. From the picture. We weren't even at the hotel. We were back safely in our Airbnb at that point. Not feeling very brave in that moment. I was not feeling very brave. And we're not here to talk about ghosts and explain that, but we're here to talk about the many iterations of bravery we engage. So the next day we went to the lake. We got a boat, we got a wave runner, we got a tube to pull behind the boat, spent the whole day on the lake. At one point, we anchored in and we got in the water and swam, and little Maddie Rose, 4 years old, just launched herself into the water. Now, she had her life jacket on, but she started the day talking about how scared she was, afraid of the water. She jumped in before I was ready to catch her, and just was as happy as could be, this girl, swimming around like a fish. So I'm swimming, the teenagers are swimming, and pretty soon one of Josie's friends approaches me, kind of, swimming over like you do in the water. And she says, now, I realize I'm an adult. She's 18, right? She graduated high school. She's an adult. I realize I'm an adult now, but I have to say I feel a lot better having a real adult in the water with me. And I'm like looking around. Where's this real adult in the water? It was me. She was talking about me. And she's terrified of what might be in the water. And she's like, if anything touches me, I'm out of here. I'm just out of here. What I didn't have the heart to tell her is the entire time I had my feet tucked squarely underneath me for the very same reason, so that I wouldn't have toes dangling as bait for who knows what's under that water, right? Table Rock Lake. We're talking a very big lake. I've seen things that come out of the water around here. Have you seen those gar fish? They look like prehistoric. I think they are prehistoric fish they look like a dinosaur fish, let's face it. I know those things are in there. Turtles. Big fish, small fish, all kinds of fish, and snakes. Don't get me started on the snakes. So this adult that she was so happy and feeling brave that she could be in the water and feel a little more safe because I was there I was sweating it out myself. And don't we do that? Don't we look at someone else and presume their sense of courage and bravery and allow it to boost us up just a little bit? Meanwhile, that person is over there sweating it out, terrified. And this is the idea we work with, right? Brene Brown says, be scared and do it anyway. Just do it. Whatever that it is that you feel compelled and called to do. Bravery doesn't require that we lose all sense of fear, just that we do it anyway. So we stayed in the water. We're going to close our poetry and prayer series with Amanda Gorman, who I shared with you, if you read the e-news, has a Unity connection. Her grandmother has attended Unity in Sacramento for many years. And so I think that as our young Unity people, I think you will sense that in her writing, that she has been influenced in some way, to some degree, by our teachings. And this is from her inaugural poem, The Hill We Climb. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? the loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. And the norms and notions of what just is isn't always justice. And yet the dawn is ours. Before we knew it, somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. I want to stop right there. Simply unfinished. Remember what I said about, can we just cross one finish line before we start paying debt to the next? Can we celebrate this iteration of bravery, this act of completion, of success, of achievement, in whatever it is? Perhaps for you, it's just getting out of bed this morning. Perhaps for you, it's making a phone call to someone to whom you have been estranged, or to who you know doesn't really want to hear from you, but you're going to be that presence of love, and you're going to make one more gesture of openness, of peace, of willingness. Perhaps for you, it's facing the treatment for a certain diagnosis. Bravery. I thought a lot about a dear friend of mine who this week completed a few months of chemotherapy treatments and finally had a surgery to remove a cancerous tumor. And how different her week looked from mine, in which I was steeped in celebration and a mother's tender heart. For where did this childhood go? It seemed like that. But bringing my dear friend's experience to heart, and what did her week look like? What did the sense of her children and their childhood look like and feel like in the midst of that experience? There is so much that we all endure. There is so much that we all experience, the peaks and the valleys. And through it all, we are called to be brave, to be present, to be the light, to act in service to the highest good. So what do we do when the fear tends to have a grip on us? What do we do when we feel apathetic, hopeless, overcome by fear? How do we settle in and center in and stand tall when we feel so very small? We'll continue with Amanda's poem. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true, that even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. So let's talk about that piece of division, fear. Some of us, when we are afraid, we block ourselves in. We build a brick wall around us so no one else can see us in our fear. We block others out. Some of us create division amongst others. We want to band together with a we versus them. We who are right and you who are wrong. And I don't say this so that we sit in judgment of ourselves. I say this so that we can observe when we're doing it. Because sometimes, even in our most intimate relationships, that's where we bring that wall of division, when we are in fear and in pain. When we should be leaning in, when we could be leaning in, we sow division. Because somehow, somewhere within, we have an idea that if we're alone, we can do it better, or we can do it right, or if nothing else, at least no one will see us in our fear and in our vulnerability. But this poem is inviting us to hold the both and. Even when we are in fear, we can be in hope. Even when we feel as though we are in failure, we can be in motivation. We can be in that impetus, in that motivation that takes us forward to try again, to do better, to do that which we couldn't do yesterday or even just this morning. If we can see it, we can be it. And that doesn't get us out of that very human experience of fear. That very human experience of, I gotta find the courage to do this, to face this, to be this. It's like faith. When we are actually activated in faith, it usually feels like the opposite. It feels as though we don't have faith, but it is faith that is actually carrying us through, that is moving us through. Otherwise, we might just be paralyzed. Bravery works the same way many times. It feels a lot like fear. But when you feel yourself in forward motion, that is bravery carrying you, that is courage carrying you, that is faith carrying you, even when it feels like anything but. So when you see someone on a lake getting pulled on a tube, and you're like, wow, look at that, that's easy. But you know what it feels like for them? They're holding on, gripping with everything they've got, and they're bumping, and the wind is blowing, and maybe a bug is hitting them, or a stick in the water, and it's anything but smooth. From the outside, looking over, it looks like a great time. It looks like a thrill ride. But the experience of it is very different. And so sometimes it takes just a little stepping out, a little perspective, and looking at yourself and saying, hey, look what you're doing. Yeah, it feels hard. Yeah, you think you can't do it, but you're actually doing it. Right here, right now, you're in it. And you're taking that step. Yeah, it feels like a baby step and you feel like you're fighting for your life. But guess what? You're fighting and you're doing it, and you can. You can continue forward. And we do so in unity, not pushing others away so that they get out of this fear space that maybe we find ourselves in, but that we can move forward in strength, and the strength of community, and the strength of togetherness. So we don't sow division. So I'd like to close with the end of the poem. So I invite you to really open up and just lean into these words. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens, but one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy, and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left with. Every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover, and every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people diverse and beautiful will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I were brave. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. Oh, America, America, may God thy gold refine till all success is nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for a patriot's dream that sees beyond the years. Oh, and thine alabaster, the cities gleam, and they're undimmed by human tears. Oh, America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, and for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruit and plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Willis. So I invite you to sit down. Stay lifted in the heart space as we settle in for a time of meditation with a breath. we open to the spacious skies of the heart. We elevate the heart that is the brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. If it is comfortable for you, I invite you to close the outer eyes and open the inner eye to those spacious skies of possibility. This moment is yours for the taking, yours for the making. And so as you release any sowing of division, you lay your burdens down, you lay fear down, and if a little piece of you picks it up or just holds on to it a little bit because it's so comfortable, familiar, let that be okay. For that will not smite your bravery, no. Your courage is emboldened in you, in and through your divine nature. The truth of you is that you are a unique, unrepeatable expression of the one holy presence in the universe, having its being in, through, and as you. And so when you look around and you see the brave, those who serve selflessly in ways you cannot fathom, and your heart swells with gratitude, know that gratitude is the realm of possibility for you. That you are called to a selfless, sacred service in only the way in which you can fulfill your calling. And so when you step into your yes with Spirit, be it in an interpersonal relationship, be it in your workplace, be it in your place of education, be it through service to community, your yes is aflame with Spirit. And when it feels more like a burning up than a fulfillment of blazing glory, trust, lean into faith, lean into love, lean into that abiding sacred presence of Spirit that is you. And simply know the truth. Sometimes there is nothing else to know. And when you cannot do it alone, reach out through prayer, through conversation, through community. Reach out. I'd like to invite our prayer chaplains to approach the altar, for they are the prayer consciousness of this community. They're always holding the high watch. Together we breathe in love and we exhale love. again. We breathe in love, and we exhale love. For there is always an infilling and an outflowing. And through it all, we are held in that sacred presence of love. Through the infilling and the outflowing. So in whatever way you are called to be brave today, in whatever way you are called to no longer sow division, but to sow unity, in whatever way you are called to allow yourself to be aflame with spirit, we allow this spaciousness of possibility within to crystallize your vision, your path, your next action. As we rest in silent contemplation.
Presence of the one, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the one, join us. In the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the one, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well.
I share with you today on behalf of the prayer chaplain team. As you know, We worked very, very closely with Reverend Carrie, who is our mentor and our guide, and we love her deeply, and we're very sad to see her leave. And we love Unity Church of Overland Park very deeply, our spiritual family. We honor and respect the efforts of Reverend Jackie and the board to navigate this transition as seamlessly and transparently as possible. And we invite you to stand in faith with us that God's grace is at work and divine order prevails. I opened my folder that I've entitled Beautiful Insights, and this was right on top, and it seems to speak perfectly to the circumstances. When you go through a sad experience or hard times, this message comes loud and clear. Surrender to love. Do not try to fight the change, and do not try to understand. In your anxiety, do not attempt to clutch at the old for security. Instead, do your best to release what was and be open to what is to come. Define all the changes as good and look for their blessings. The day will come when you will look back at such a time and say, thank you.
Thank you, Judy, and thank you, prayer chaplains and the musicians. Reverend Jackie, thank you, thank you. So we have a few announcements coming
Yes, we
up,
do.
right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. One of the first, I have to use my glasses. I forgot to put them on. Okay, here we go. So as we prepare to meet in person next Sunday, how exciting is that? Are we all?
That's very exciting.
We're so excited. So we're preparing to meet in person next Sunday. And we're also excited that as all of us adults get to come, we get to welcome our children and our grandchildren back into this new sanctuary space. And so as we're preparing for that, we also have identified a need. And that would be for 1 or 2 people who would like to volunteer to help with the young ones, kind of the babies through age 5 on Sunday morning. So if you yourself or anybody that you know happen to be interested in that, then could you please email Reverend Jackie? Her email address is jfernandez@ucop.org, and let her know so that she can be part of trying to help recruit the right and perfect person to hang out with our little ones during our Sunday service when we are all together.
And Tiffany, I was just going to say, since we might be blocking Reverend Jackie's email address and we don't want anybody not to have an opportunity to reach out to Jackie, that information is also in our e-news on Fridays.
Yeah, thank you. Very good. Also, you can check out the e-news or go to our website to register for next Sunday's service. Now, do you have to register to come? No, you do not have to register to come.
That's right.
But would it be helpful if you did register to come? Yes, and you may ask, well, why is that? Well, that is because they would like to know how many chairs to try to set up. So there will be plenty of chairs for everybody, but if you could think about that and register in advance. If you plan on being here in person, it would be a great help. But if you forget to do that, just come on over anyway, because we would love to see everybody here.
Absolutely.
And please remember also to park on the Flum side of the building, and there will be the Unity signs and some balloons, and everybody will know exactly where to go if you haven't been here yet. It's really easy to find. So, and we'll have greeters, and there'll be all kinds of festivities letting you know where to be.
Wonderful.
Yes? Okay. And then the other thing is that there's a lot going on next Sunday. We'll also be introducing our new members. So you'll remember that we recently had a membership class. And so those that participated in that class and have come on as new members will be recognized next Sunday. And also, there are graduates of all kinds, from kindergarten all the way through college and beyond. So if you have somebody in your life who is celebrating a graduation, then we would love to list their name and the level of education they graduated from. And photos are also welcome. So please get all of that information or photos to Deb Philby. And again, her information can be found in the e-news every Friday, but it's dphilby@ucop.org. So very easy to find her. And then lastly, and this is something for all of us to be taking to heart, also on June 6th is a celebration of life that will be held at the Black Box in Kansas City, Missouri, for our beloved songbird, Molly Hammer. It's at 7:30 p.m., and if you'd like more information, please do see the e-news or the website for a link to the Facebook page for more information about this outdoor venue.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so much. Tiffany Crabtree, she's awesome. Thank you, that's great.
Okay.
And also, I just wanted to recognize a couple of other folks. This has been an incredibly beautiful service, and I just feel the deep spiritual connection that the prayer chaplains have brought into this space this morning. Thank you so much, and thank you for holding the high watch for this community, all during the pandemic, and now as we start to come back together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you to our wonderful prayer chaplain and interpreter, Terry Sturgeon, whose beautiful interpreting always lends this level of connectedness to the service. So thank you so much for that. And also, our lovely flowers have been, where'd Pam Enlow go? Oh, there she is. Oh, she's signing checks. I gave her something else to do, so she's over there signing checks. The musicians, thank you, Pam. But thank you so much for bringing the flowers today and every Sunday. They are absolutely gorgeous, and they go out on the reception counter afterwards, and so we enjoy them all throughout the week. So thank you so much for that. So continuing on with our slides, what are the words that you use to describe the dads in your life? Now those could be your dads, your granddads, uncles, brother-in-laws. In my case, it was my brother-in-law. Somebody in your life that was very near and dear to you that exemplifies all those qualities in being a great dad, a great listener, a role model, somebody you can talk to, somebody who shows you all sorts of cool things, whoever that might be. We are going to honor them on the 20th, which is Father's Day. Several of you have already sent in pictures. I encourage you to send in a picture of anybody that meets those qualifications to dphilby@ucop.org. And again, that information is in the e-news. And just one other thank you out to all of our volunteers that make our Sunday services possible. That includes Joan Priolo over on the slides, Mike Hobson, who handles our StreamYard, Jim Crabtree, beloved partner to Tiffany, who is running our camera, and our ushers and greeters and board members. You all make it possible. Thank you so much. And now, let's close out our service with prayer, our mission, and a final song from Willis White. I think, Tiffany, you're going to lead us in the prayer for protection?
Yeah, so will everybody please join us in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yes. Thank you. And also, can we say together, Unity Church of Overland Park's mission statement. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives, and empowers people to make a difference in the world. All right. And so join us next Sunday for our in-person services and Reverend Jackie's message, Swing Wide the Doors, Homecoming. Ha, yay! And then we'll be welcoming back Willis White as our soloist. And we'll also be joined by our UCOP trio featuring Fred Albers, James Albright, Terry Swope, as they swing wide the doors of Unity Church of Overland Park. So welcome back, Willis, for the final song, God Makes Me Want to Sing, written by Daniel Nahmad. Woo!
Can't help it, God makes me want to sing. Yes, I can't help it, God makes me want to sing. Yes, makes me feel so good, I can do most anything. I'm loving every living thing. I can see the face of God on paupers and kings.